Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. My name is Nick.
I'm Ian.
And this week we're gonna, so I guess I'll go back a little bit. Last week, was it?
Yes.
Last week, I think it was. I did a video, kind of like my hot take on the record store day list. So today we're gonna kind of dig a little bit deeper into that list. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click on the link below and go check out the Vinyl Den Facebook group. You know, it's kind of a great place that we kind of just continue this conversation about music on.
A lot of great people on there too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoy the episode, give us the old thumbs up. What else are you supposed to do, Ian?
Notification bell. Ding,
Hit
ding.
that bell. So about a week and a half ago, I think it was now, I did kind of like my video, my little hot take video. I'll put a link above if you want to check that video out. But today we're going to kind of go in a different direction. I'm not going to talk about those titles that I talked about in the episode. I know Ian is going to talk about some of those because he's interested in a couple of those albums.
I really just came with a list of what I'm getting.
Yes,
so.
yeah. I'm going to talk about some other ones that I've seen people talking about online, and also some that maybe I've given a second thought to. So if you guys don't know, Record Store Day is kind of like a celebration of independent record stores that they do every year, just like a release of a bunch of rare and live stuff that you can't really get any other time of the year, or I guess it's released on that day, and when it's gone, it's typically gone. There's a couple of different things though. They do like a Record Store Day first, so those are releases that are released on Record Store Day but may eventually get reissued down the line. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And then they also do Record Store Day exclusives, which are only going to be available during that Record Store Day. Right? Make sense? All right. I like I said, I talked about my list last week, so I'll let Ian's got a little bit longer list than I do, so I'll let him start with some of the stuff he's got on his.
Like I said, I only put down the stuff that I'm gonna buy, that I know for sure I want. Couple to start out with: Tom Petty, Angel Dream, which, from what I understand, based on what was written, is kind of essentially the She's the One soundtrack that they did in 1995, I think.
Somewhere around there.
But still, it's one I'm a completist with certain bands. I'm a completist, and Tom Petty's one of them.
Yeah.
And then another one is
now these are all for June. You said,
June.
Right?
This is June 12th. And there's going to be 12,000 copies of that. I don't know if it's a Record Store Day first or what, but it's 12,000 copies.
Ian was a good host. He could have looked it up. But.
Yeah. Anyway, and also the second one is Prince, The Truth.
Which that's one I want to pick up also.
Yeah,
I think that's a
there
good
going
one.
to be 13,000 copies of that. So, I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to find it.
That one, the Prince one I know is a Record Store Day first.
First, okay.
So that one may get, like I said, that may get reissued down the line.
Yeah. Still, I don't want to risk not getting it. So, because it's an acoustic album, or mostly acoustic.
It's mostly acoustic.
Yeah, I definitely want to get that one. Yeah. So that's two to start out for mine.
So the list I have is mainly for the June date. I've only got one thing on my list that I was going to talk about that comes out July 17th. And so the first two I've got are two albums by The Cure. One is Faith, and the other one is Wild Mood Swings. They're both really good albums. I'm not going to pick these up because they're picture discs.
Same reason I'm not picking.
I don't know why The Cure does the whole picture disc thing for Record Store Day. If they were standard albums, I would probably pick them up. But these are both exclusive releases. So if you're a fan of picture discs, definitely one you'll want to pick up.
Yeah, The Cure is a great band. They're a band I want to get their whole catalog, but I just don't want the picture discs.
Yeah.
So a couple more that I've got: The Doors, Morrison Hotel Sessions, which I'm assuming are like demos.
Yeah, so that's a Record Store Day exclusive. Mm-hmm. Those are demos and outtakes of the tracks that eventually became Morrison Hotel, which is a fantastic album. It's probably my favorite Doors album. I did talk about that on the on my RSD
and again,
video.
I'm a completist, so I'm going to try and get all of them. And I missed the boat on one of the Record Store Days last year.
That was the soft parade stripped.
Yeah, I missed the boat on that one.
Which that's a good one. The Soft Parade strips, it's weird because the Soft Parade was a Doors album that had a lot of horns and strings on it, and they kind of stripped all that out on the album. So it's kind of weird to listen to those songs done that way because you're kind of used to listening.
Right.
But
still, I would have liked to have had
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And then the next one is Elton John's Regimental Sergeant Zippo. There's going to be 7,000 copies of this. Again, I don't know if it's an exclusive or not. But this was an album that
was an exclusive, I think.
But this was recorded, all this was recorded in 68, I think, but not released right away or not released at all until recently. I don't know the exact history of it, but it's stuff that was put together in 68 and then kind of shelved.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious. I'm getting it because I don't know anything about it, but I want to hear kind of this.
I'm a fan of that earlier period of Elton John's music for sure. So this one I'm at least interested in listening to.
Yeah. And for me, I like the idea of, you know, albums that are recorded and then just shelved. Because there's a couple other albums in the past. Chateau Disaster by Jethro Tull is an example. You just kind of, it's unique and it's interesting. And sometimes, arguably, you think, why was this shelved? This is a great album. So I'm kind of hoping that's the case with this one.
So there's a couple of albums that the first time I went through the list, and I guess really the second or third time I went through the list when I did the RSD video, I didn't notice a couple of these. Like the first one I had was Jefferson Airplane. This is Acid, Incense, and Balloons, RSD Collected Gems from the Golden Era of Flight, 1966 to 1971. If you're a fan of Jefferson Airplane, I'm a casual fan of some of their earlier stuff.
Right.
This would be a good one to pick up. This is kind of interesting because this is an album that the RSD team put together. So it's like a greatest hits collection and some kind of rare gems also from that earlier period of Jefferson Airplane. This is an exclusive. There's only going to be 3,000 of these issued. So, I mean, it's not going to be super rare, but it won't be as readily available as some of the other titles. The other one that I saw that I don't think I noticed the first time through was The Beautiful Process by L7. I think this is the 25th anniversary, so it was what, 1996, I believe.
96, yeah.
So it's an album that I remember hearing a couple of times. I was L7 is a really good band. I like a lot of their music, so it's one that I may pick up possibly.
Yeah. I don't have it on my list, but I may too. Yeah. It's hard to say. Next couple that I've got, The Kinks' Percy from 1971. Now this was an album that when I looked into it, was not released at all in the U.S. originally. I think it may have been on CD, but when it came out in 71, it was not released in the U.S. Can only get it as an import. So I'm just curious. The Kinks are a band that I might go back and forth and not necessarily get all of them.
Yeah.
But the early days stuff, and that's just kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. It's I like a lot of their earlier stuff.
Right.
Sure.
And then another one is The Who, Face Dances. It's 40th anniversary edition. Again, The Who is another band I'm going to be a completist on. I'm going to get all their albums.
I'm not exactly sure I've heard that album though.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking back. If it's 40 years, 81. I'd have to look and see what the track listing is on it. Mm-hmm. But again, I'm a completist, so obviously I know their older stuff better than their 80s stuff. Yeah. But
they're a great band though, for sure.
Yeah.
So one that I had originally planned on talking about in my last video is one that it's an interesting one. I'm not sure how many of these are going to sell. I don't know how hot this one's going to be, but this is Motley Crue, the 40th anniversary cassette box set. There's going to be 1,750 of these released.
It's all their studio albums.
It's not all their studio albums.
Well, it's
the popular era of Motley Crue.
Up to 89. So it's,
their first 5 albums.
Yeah.
On
cassette though.
On cassette. And Motley Crue, the funny thing is they've got some really good music that they did in the 90s. I don't know why they pretend like those last couple of albums didn't exist, but I don't know. If they're going to do a box set, they should do one of their entire catalog.
Yeah, maybe. But I think the hard part is with that is that one album that they did with, what's his name?
John Corabi.
Which
is a really good album.
Yeah, it's not a bad album. It's not Motley Crue, but it's not a bad album.
I mean, it is Motley Crue.
I mean, it's different.
It is different. It's a harder album. They're trying to kind of blend more with the music scene in the mid '90s, and I think it's a good album for what it is.
Yeah. It didn't work commercially, and to be completely honest, none of their albums that came after that did well commercially, which is probably why they're not included. However, I'm not a cassette guy.
Yeah, neither am I.
You know,
but there's a lot of people out there that still
do cassettes,
and really enjoy them. I guess I collect enough stuff as it is. I don't need something else. But another one was the Rolling Stones Hot Rocks. It's the 50th anniversary. I'm kind of up in the air on the Rolling Stones. It really depends on the album but Hot Rocks is a collection of a lot of their earlier stuff. So that might be a good one to pick up also.
I'm a completist too with them, but I don't do greatest hits, generally speaking. So a couple others for me. Warren Zevon's Preludes, which is a collection of like unreleased material. There are going to be 1,800 copies of that. Warren Zevon's another one I think I haven't completely decided if I want to be a completist on, but I think I'm going to be.
Yeah.
So, so that one's out there. It's coming out. And then jumping to July, Pearl Jam's Alive, which I think is a 7-inch?
It's a 12-inch single.
12-inch single. Okay.
And it's got Alive on it, and it also has three
unreleased tracks.
It's not unreleased tracks, but they're rare tracks.
Rare tracks, right.
A couple of them, I think one or two of them, it's the first time they've been available on vinyl.
Right.
Because that's another one I wanted to pick up.
They're going to be doing 18,000 copies of that. So it's not a big worry, but I'm going to pick it up anyway.
And the Pearl Jam Alive is an RSD first. So there's 18,000 of those. Depending on how they sell, they might press it again in the future also. Right. So one that I've seen a lot of people talking about online is one that I didn't necessarily think would be a really popular one. And this is Tears for Fears live at Massey Hall. This is an RSD first. There's going to be 3,500 of these available. So it's another one that's not super limited, but not one that's obviously going to have 18,000 of them available either. But, if you're a fan of live albums, which I'm kind of up in the air, they're kind of hit or miss with me. But I have actually gotten a little bit more into Tears for Fears the last 6 or 8 months. So it's one that, depending on the price, I might pick up. The last one I had, though, is one that I didn't recognize the name of this band until I was watching another YouTube video, and they were talking about it, and it kind of dawned on me. And this is Stillwater. This is the Stillwater demos. It's an RSD first. It's going to be out on the June 12th date. There's going to be 6,800 of these. Stillwater is the band from Almost Famous.
Yeah, the fictional band.
The fictional band. So this is the demos of the songs that made it into that movie some of the songs that made it into the movie of the fictional band. But I'm definitely a fan of the movie. I'd love to have the soundtrack, but it's super expensive and it's really hard to find. So that's one that I'll probably pick up if it's available. Yeah, and
the demos are by the artists who wrote the songs for the movie. So I know Nancy Wilson, I think it was one of the artists on there. For sure. That was the only one that stuck in my head. So
it'd be an interesting one to pick up for sure.
Yeah. So they'll be different from the movie versions. Yeah. The last couple I have are also from July. Bush, Sea of Memories, the 10th anniversary. Again, it's a completist thing for me. Sea of Memories isn't my favorite of their albums.
Yeah,
it's a good album.
It's a good album,
but it's not my favorite. However, again, I'm going to be a completist, and I can't find Bush stuff anywhere.
It's gotten harder to find.
So I'm going to grab it while I can.
That's an RSD first, by the way. Does it say how many?
1,800 copies.
1,800 of those.
Yep.
So it's a little bit more limited, but it's going to be an RSD first. So if they sell pretty decent, there's a good chance that you'll see them more down the line.
And the last one is Mechanical Resonance by Tesla. Tesla is one of those bands. If I'm not thinking about them, I'm not thinking. They're just. But when I'm listening to them, I'm like, oh my god, it's Tesla. So it's just I'm going to pick it up. I think this is their first album.
That is their debut album. It's actually a really good album. They did the Great Radio Controversy last year for RSD, which was a really big seller. So I assume that this one will be also. Mm-hmm. This is going to be an exclusive. There's only going to be 3,000 of these available, so it should go pretty quick.
Yeah. So that's the ones I know for sure I'm going to pick up. There might be a few stragglers that I say, I'll just go ahead and get it, but those are the ones I'm definitely getting. And to be honest, That's more than I got in the last 2 record store days.
Yeah.
2 years of record store days. So
Ian, not me.
Oh no, yeah, no. I think the 1 year I only bought 1 record.
Yeah.
It was Alice Cooper.
Yeah. And I think it was the thing that at first I wasn't a big fan of how they split up record store day last year into three different drops, but in kind of looking back on it in hindsight, I think it was a really good idea. Because I spent a lot more over those 3 dates than I would have on a single date. So I'm sure the June and July drops this year are going to be similar. I'll probably pick up a lot more than maybe I would on a singular RSD date in April. Well, that's all we got for you this week, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Drop us a comment down below and let us know what you guys think of the RSD list and what you think of these titles that we talked about today. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give us the old thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell.
Ding, ding.
And come back and check out the show next week.
Did you say leave comments?
I did. I told them to leave a comment.
Well, I'm just making sure.
Thanks for joining the episode, Ian. Well, that's all we got. Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Keep on spinning. Peace.